Welcome everybody to our advanced member training. This week again we're still discussing blogging for profit. Today we're going to talk about generating traffic to your blog. Obviously you won't make any money from monetizing your content if nobody ever sees it. So we're going to talk about that. Our main focus is going to be on organic traffic. We'll talk a little bit about advertising, I guess. We could open it up with that. Advertising for a blog, paid advertising isn't how do I word this without shooting myself in the foot? So I sell advertising. It's not necessarily the best investment you can make. A lot of the ad networks that you would use to monetize your content, which we'll discuss in the next video, are really focused on organic traffic. Any kind of incentivized traffic, some of them will kind of block. So if you're using any advertising methods to bring traffic to your blog, you kind of want to do it indirectly. The way I would recommend, if you're doing any kind of advertising content, would be to generate a landing page for your blog that kind of upsells the blog, and then sell it to them as not literally sell as in make them buy, but the proposition being the lead capture page, email list. Focus on just getting them to subscribe based on like little tidbits or selling points of the kinds of content in the blog. Like here's, subscribe to our, our business resources, get our business, sales training, learn about phishing, get new content every week, and the top advertising methods and systems to help you build your business, and then just get them to subscribe. I wouldn't send paid advertising directly to the content. I'd go through an autoresponder, basically, because unless you're advertising through the ad network that you're using to monetize it, a lot of them aren't gonna, like if you're using Google ads on it, then really the only kind of advertising you can do and get away with to bring traffic to it would be through Google's ads. Most other ways they'll, extreme cases will close your publisher account for using incentivized or forced traffic. So with advertising, send them to a lead capture page. Don't send them directly to your content. Make sure that there's no ads on the page you're sending them to. If you're using Google, then use a different kind of analytics system, because they'll follow your audience. They'll follow your viewers through the chain. But the main ways of getting traffic for your blog would be organic. The basic, of course, being search engine optimization. We did a training about that a couple weeks prior. So we got a whole video series on that you can look at. But the main gist of it would be, obviously you're creating the content. As long as you have at least 300 words, your content is likely to get indexed, in which case people who are searching for your content can find it organically directly through the search engines. This kind of traffic takes time. It takes a lot of time to build, especially domain authority is a big part of it, where you won't even get really good rankings for quite some time unless you're targeting, long tail keywords or extremely small niches where there's very, very low saturation. However, like I said, in general cases, it'll take as much as a year before you start getting any real decent traffic from the search, from Google type search engines anyway. But a good way though to, email is always a strong way to build returning traffic. Getting people to subscribe to an email list if they like your content, so you can send them notices when you generate more content. Email's not dead. Surprise. I know. It surprises me too. I don't know how it still works after all these years, after all these people abusing it, but it does. It's still one of the strongest methods of online communication in the world today. So, get subscriber. I mean, literally ask them to subscribe. Put a call to action at the end of every post. Put your opt-in form in the body. Don't do sidebars. People are blind to sidebars. We don't look at them anymore. We don't care about ads. We're tired of looking at sidebars. Dead. Put it inline in your post, either in the post itself. I like to do it at the very end. I could probably get more conversions if I put it at the top, but I like to put it at the end of the content because it kind of, so you're reading, and you get to the end, subscribe for more updates, and it's right there. You've read the post, you're obviously engaged. You're more likely to subscribe at that point. We'll talk about the social networks in a little bit, but that's also a good place to put your social network stuff. When you ask your closing question to engage your audience, you could say, what I've been focusing on Twitter right now, so I would say, do you have any other blogging tips, or which of these blogging tips are your favorite, or which blogging tips work for you? Let me know in the comments or on Twitter. Post a link to Twitter. Literally ask people for that engagement, because they'll do it if you ask them to. But make sure that it's not, too subtle, really. You don't want to spam, shove it in their face, but at the same time you kind of do, because they will respond. People will respond to it. Don't spam their email. Don't send them crap all the time. Send them content, pull them back into your blogs. If they subscribe, they obviously want more information, but also use it as a chance to engage them, to keep them. We talked about list building in another training, and of course one of the main things to keep people subscribed to your list is to provide value content and engage them. The other great ways, of course, are social media. Facebook is a massive driver of traffic, especially to blogs. A lot of people generate, millions annually in advertising revenue through their blogs just by getting them shared on Facebook. So that's another thing you want to keep super easy. Put Facebook, honestly, they're small. Make them easy. You'll see it on our blog. Several instances. Also in line with the article, not in the sidebar. Again, people are blind to sidebars. In line. A lot of times if it's a long article, a lot of times people will just read, honestly, a headline in the first paragraph and start making assumptions. So don't hesitate to put your like button, your share and tweet buttons at the top of your post. But don't only put them there. I put one at the very top. I put one at the underneath the headline, and then at the bottom, where someone's read it and they share it. Share on Facebook. Make sure that you're using your open graph tags so that it looks good when it's shared on Facebook. It's got your image, your featured image, a little description, an excerpt, engaging headline. The headline is extremely important, especially on Facebook, to generate click-throughs. The Facebook traffic can come quickly, as in that it doesn't take forever to get indexed. It takes somebody clicking share, share on Facebook to go live on it. But you need a headline that people will click, so it needs to be something engaging, incite curiosity. Emotional adjectives are good. Things like, or questions. You see a lot of what happens next will amaze you, and you won't believe what happens when, this and this, X and Y. Those are all things that create curiosity. and now the person wants to know what happened, so they click on it, right? Same kind of thing goes for Twitter. Twitter doesn't get nearly as much volume. It also doesn't respond to the same kinds of content that Facebook does. So keep that kind of in mind, depending on what kind of audience, you maybe even want to push, Pinterest over the other ones, depending on the type of content you're using. Have a presence on all of them, because your audience is going to be everywhere. You want to be where your audience is. Give opportunities for people to follow you regardless of what medium they prefer, whether Facebook, Twitter, email, Pinterest, LinkedIn, the list goes on. YouTube. Make sure that they have a chance to engage and that you're also creating that cycle. You provide content, they engage with you, you return the engagement, with content, and you can kind of keep the cycle going. You want to do that no matter where your audience is. Give them an opportunity, but only if you have your Facebook pages and Twitter, your pages for your blogger. Don't only post your blog posts there. Also provide, actual engaging content. Ask questions. It's a great way to get ideas for topics by asking your existing audience what they like, what they're interested in, what they want to hear about. Investigate what they're talking about that doesn't include you. Go to their timelines, go to their feeds, and look at what they talk about. If you see several people that follow your content talking about something and you're not talking about it, it's a great opportunity there to include yourself in that conversation. Also, they're likely to share it if it's something that they're already talking about anyway, and they're adding your voice, which they already trust. With YouTube is actually surpassed Google as the highest searched media. So include video. Your video on your blog itself doesn't necessarily going to get indexed, doesn't necessarily going to help the blog. People like media to be engaged, but putting a little teaser kind of on YouTube, ask questions on it and say find out more. Give people a taste on YouTube. Can bring you some traffic because people will search YouTube rather than searching Google for things, because a lot of people learn by watching. So if they want to find out how to build a raft rather than Google it, they might search it on YouTube so they can get videos along with it. So that's a good way to also pull content in. I don't know if it technically would classify in the social media realm or not, but some people do include it, so I will too. So we have advertising, search, SEO, search engine traffic, and social media. Other ways are to, engage in the blogging communities that already exist. People who blog on your similar topics, comment on their blogs. Become friends with those bloggers. Become friends with their audience. Create a sort of a brand in that niche with the other bloggers that are blogging a similar topic. You notice that with authors, people who blog don't compete like shampoo companies do, and the reason is because they can share the market pretty easily. There's no reason for people don't go just to one blog for all their content. They go to 6 blogs and they kind of compare information and they use that to formulate their own research and their own idea. So you can kind of get yourself into their network by communicating with the people that are engaged with that blog. People there will get to know you. You'll notice that it's the same people commenting on several blog posts by the same person. You can kind of get yourself into that group. Also, engaging with the blogger themselves is a great way to get in with them, to get them to view your content. If they're checking out your content, then that's awesome, because there's a chance that they will reference it in their own content, which will drive traffic. Or the relationship could lead to, guest posts on each other's stuff, where they'll be a guest on your blog, you can be a guest on their blog. It'll drive a lot of cross traffic over, because you can be guaranteed that if I'm going to create a guest post on your blog, then I'm going to share it. I'm going to drive traffic to your blog. And that's a great way to get new subscribers and new readers. Oh my gosh, there's one other thing. Drawn a blank. I had one more tip. I'm going to go crazy. What was it? We have SEO, guest posts, social networks, list building, advertising. I talked about YouTube. Interviewing people. I remembered. Oh yeah, sorry about that, guys. Interview posts are another great way to get more traffic. It's also great if you're not an expert at something, if you don't really know a whole lot about the topic that you're trying to get involved into. Interviewing is an awesome way to do it, because then you don't necessarily have to provide the content yourself. You're kind of just guiding a discussion for somebody else to provide the content for you, and also they're going to share it. Let's say if I wanted to blog posts about construction, and I really don't know much about construction. I know how to measure, cut, saw, screw things together, hammer, nails, basics. I wouldn't go out and try and build a house though, right? But I could have I could have an interview series with 7 or 8 local contractors, and let each of them, guide the discussion about them, how they would go about starting contracting business, the construction process, the equipment, the tools, foundations. And now I have a blog full of content about, construction contractors, without really having known it myself. Not only that, but you can bet for pretty dang sure that if you interview somebody, they're going to share it with their circles. So similar to guest posting, you get the opportunity to bring their audience to you. That's it. That's all the things I wanted to cover, and I got them all, which is awesome. Those are all great ways to bring traffic to your blog organically, which means free, and it means by will of the audience, which is great for advertising revenue because people want to be there, they're engaged in your topic rather than being forced. And that's it. The expert video, tomorrow's training, we'll talk about how you can monetize that content. And that'll be it for our blocking week. Thanks for coming by the advanced summer training today. We do this every Tuesday, live at 7 p.m. Eastern. We also have our daily marketing meetup Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. This is kind of our general networking question and answer session, as well as individual one-on-one consultation sessions where we can discuss how to generate your traffic to your specific blog if you have one and you're trying to generate new leads and subscribers. We can set up a one-on-one session and figure out a plan that'll work best for your case. Make sure you check out the discussion going on in the forum using the link under this video, and we can keep talking about it there if you have any questions or any other tips for generating traffic, or if you think that I'm completely wrong, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's figure if you have any better ways that I missed. I'd love to hear them. I'm sure the other members would too. We'd really appreciate having your participation in our discussion. So visit the discussion in the forum, the link under this video, and I will see you there and at the expert training. Talk about how you can actually turn all this into money. All right. See you guys there.